Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got a two-part clip of this single mom, and the father's the one that is recording, and apparently he shows up for the son's graduation, and this happens. So I just want you to listen very closely, and then we're gonna talk about it.
I do got rights. No, it's all right, son. The world needs to see how she act because she crazy.
There's this girl going back, by the way, from your raggedy ass mom.
I just came to see my son graduate and give him a gift. That's all I did. You didn't make him by yourself, sweetie. And you ain't raised him by yourself. You know how much money I spend on my son? What prosecutor? I'm done playing with you. Man, look, I bought my son a gift for graduation, and look how she acted. Got my son crying because he wanted to see me. I do got rights. No, it's all right. But it's cool. Talking about she got a prosecutor about to lock me up for what? For taking care of my son? Jacob, just stay praying, all right, bro? Love you too, man. Stay praying. Stay prayed up, son. It's gonna be all right. Stay prayed up, man. I love you. But this how bipolar people act. She just, I don't know what's wrong with her. Then she ain't tell nobody about the graduation, and she mad I found out.
Now, if he doesn't come to the graduation, he's a deadbeat. If he shows up, he's harassing her. Then she threatens jail. They're always using the jail, the system, Zaddy's system, to threaten a black man about something. This time, it's about coming to see his son at graduation. And then you got the hyenas of the boneyard in the comments talking about, well, what did he do to her? It's always about what the man did or may have done or whatever the case may have been. It's never about holding the female accountable for her actions in this instant, right? Because if this man shows up to his child's graduation, what does that have to do with you? What does that actually have to do with you? That doesn't have anything to do with you. That's your son's day, and he should be able to communicate with his father. If his father came to the graduation and had to find out about it because you didn't want to communicate with him and tell him that, hey, your son, you know what I'm saying, the graduation is such and such day, they're going to either have it at the school or they having it at another place at such and such time, you know, and this is what it is. Too many of these females get it twisted that if they're not on good terms personally with the child, with the father of their children, that the child somehow that interferes with him being a father. He could have been the crappiest boyfriend, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be a good dad. Those are two different hats to wear. Those are two different hats to wear for men. So just because you and him relationship didn't work out, you may not even like each other at this point. But at what point do we put away the foolishness and just be adults, be the adults in this situation? Because the child is already going to suffer. He's already suffering without having his father in the home with him. And y'all chose that situation. Y'all chose, you know what I'm saying, not to be together, or chose each other and it wasn't a good match, or whatever the case may be, or whatever the reason is that you guys aren't together at this point. Looks like he graduated from grammar school, so he's about 12 or 13 or so. Um And so, you know, running away from him, your son witnessing you rushing him off, and then the call out to his father, like, I love you. You know what I'm saying? That was a willing call out to his dad, to let his dad know, basically, I'm not really with this. Like, I'm just in the middle of this situation, and I live with her, so I gotta roll with what she's rolling with. But at the same time, this doesn't have anything to do with me not loving you as my dad. You know, in a situation like this, if she acting like this, she tell that boy all kind of stuff about his dad that may or may not be true, twisting narratives and twisting stories about his father, to put it in his head that, you know, whatever negativity concerning his father that she wants to say, things of that nature. You know that this is the type of chick that's doing that, because if she's doing this in a public venue, um you know that she keeps that boy from him for any reason and every reason. She doesn't want, this is the toxicity of the single mothers. This is really part, a huge part of the toxicity is the ruining of the foundations of the relationships between the children and the father, because you don't like him, or you don't want him, or he don't want you, or whatever it is, your personal feelings. It has nothing to do with that child. Nothing. The child didn't date him, and y'all picked each other. You picked him, got pregnant, carried that baby a whole 9 months, had the baby. Like, stop playing. Because at one point, you couldn't get enough of that Negro. There was a point where you couldn't get enough of him. Okay, and so the relationship dissolves for one reason or another. We don't care what the reason is. What does that have to do with parenting the children? What does that have to do? Yeah, it's too many of y'all so immature. And she looked way too old for that. She looked way too old for that. But a lot of these chicks are 14, 15 years old mentally. They don't get no older. They all think the same way. They have nothing to do. Your hang-ups with that man have nothing to do with that baby. That baby wanted to see his dad, let his daddy get him the gift. I don't care if they don't see each other too much all year. It was a special day. It's a day you don't get back. You don't get a repeat of that day. You don't redo 8th grade graduation or whatever. And so let that man make a memory with his child that's a positive one. You made a memory with him and you traumatized him with it. So now his graduation day is memory is marred by, after the ceremony, his mother and father arguing between each other, walking through the parking lot and the facility. That's what that baby's memory of his graduation consists of. And you think that's okay. She thinks that she thought that was cute. She thought, like, what is that baby supposed to make of that? And they don't even be caring what the child do with that information. What do they do with that? How do they internalize what they just heard and saw and experienced? How do they experience that? You just take for granted that he experienced it the way you did, and he didn't. He absolutely did not. And they don't care. They have no care about whether how the child is experiencing anything that they do. They just doing whatever, saying whatever, having no regard for the fact that you talking to that boy daddy like that in front of him. That's not his man, that's his dad. So just out of respect, people be talking about, well, out of respect for the fact that that's the mother of your child, you don't talk to her a certain way. So what happens to after the respect, due to the respect that that's the father of your child, don't talk to him a certain way, especially in front of that, and especially in front of the children. Don't talk to him a certain way. Don't say certain things about him within earshot of that boy, because that little boy has to have a certain thought pattern about his father that you may not have. But then again, that ain't none of your daddy, and they don't think past their nose. How generational curses are passed. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye bye, Crimsonites.